Right now at 10, details about murder charges filed against a Montgomery County, Kansas woman. Plus, the second annual Black Expo kicks off in Joplin. We have the details. And how a Joplin area committee is celebrating Juneteenth this weekend. The KOAM News at 10 starts right now. Murder charges are filed against a Montgomery County, Kansas woman. Thank you for joining us. I'm Bronte Sorotsky. Authorities say Megan McCutcheon was involved in a 2019 shooting in Montgomery County that led to the death of Kimberly Meeks. Earlier this year, McCutcheon's brother Benjamin Mason was sentenced to life in prison for shooting and killing Meeks. Authorities say even though McCutcheon did not fire a weapon in the shooting, she was the alleged driver of the car where the gun was shot. They say under Kansas law, she will now be charged with premeditated attempted first-degree murder and premeditated first-degree murder by aiding Mason in the shooting. McCutcheon was already an inmate at the Topeka Correctional Facility for drug and theft charges. Today, the Easttown Dreams District is hosting the second annual Black Expo at the Empire Market. The event aims to invite the community together in celebration of Juneteenth weekend while giving African American vendors and small business owners an opportunity of exposure.
It is for the small businesses that are underutilized in our area. Also different organizations that are underutilized. They don't have the advertising budget, and so we are putting this on behalf of Juneteenth, which is Sunday, but this is our day for it today.
You can find more on this story on our website on KOAMnewsnow.com. Juneteenth became a federal holiday in 2021. The Minnehaha Community Service Center is taking this time to not only celebrate the holiday, but educate people on it. KOAM's Jalen Banks has more.
The Minnehaha Community Service Center has been serving the Joplin community for over 75 years. And today they're celebrating their inaugural Juneteenth celebration of Southwest Missouri. Juneteenth is a day that celebrates the emancipation of enslaved African Americans. Its first celebration dates back to 1866 and became a federal holiday in 2021. The Minnehaha Community Center is putting on a living history event where they are portraying African American historical figures such as Ida B. Wells, Josephine Sloan Yates, and others.
What I'm hoping the most is that young children understand that people that look like them went on to do really amazing things in the state that we live in. A lot of times we separate ourselves from historical figures and think, oh, I can't do that, they're so big. They started out just like you and I.
The group hopes that the next generation can learn from today and pass what they have learned on to each other.
So we're really hoping that this is the beginning of learning more about Juneteenth. And so we're doing, as you can see, they're doing an art project painting the Juneteenth flag. We talked about the symbolism that goes along with that flag. So just to take some things from today and be able to share and move forward and hopefully build memories.
In Joplin, at the Minnehaha Community Service Center, Jalen Banks, KOAM News.
The official recognition of the holiday is tomorrow. Schiffer-Decker Golf Course partners with Emancipation Celebration Committee for the 5th annual charity golf tournament. Teams of 4 teed off to raise money for the Park Days celebration that's held in August. There was food, prizes, and drawings throughout the day, and one lucky winner had the chance to hit the $1 million hole-in-one.
The main goal is, like I said, just to put on this tournament and support our Park Day event in the 4th of August coming up here this summer.
The drawing for the $1 million hole-in-one shot gives someone the opportunity to get a shot at 20-year annuity for $40,000 a year for $1 million. Well, Miami Pridefest kicked off at Riverview Park today with 50 vendors, live music, food trucks, and bounce houses. The grand marshal of the event was this year's 2022 Miss Gay Oklahoma America. She led the march around the park to symbolize unity and support.
It's the perfect time for us to really just celebrate who we are, and especially being boxed in such a small town, it gives everybody an opportunity to do what they love and be who they love to be.
If you want to learn more about the Miami NEO Pride, you can visit our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Some Joplin area people got the chance to tour a mausoleum today. Historic Murfreesburg Preservation partnered with the Webb City Historic Preservation Commission to provide the tours. Visitors had the opportunity to hear directly from the spirits of early 20th century Joplin and Webb City influencers. The tour also included theatrical vignettes, historical reenactors, musical entertainment, and refreshments.
I grew up in Murfreesburg, and my great-grandmother's house is over there. And so and I've been doing this since it first started. So to help people learn and understand what it means to preserve our history.
If you want to learn more about the history of Mount Hope Cemetery, you can visit our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now Nick Kelly joins us with a look at our weather.
And it's the same story pretty much, Bronte, for yet another day after we put up with a pretty much hot week across the area. It might look nice from 7th and Range Line at 10:06 on this Saturday night, but after we started out at 72, right back into the mid-90s with Joplin Regional topping out at 96. Even though it was hot, we didn't have a lot in the way of excess humidity, so a lot of us didn't have to deal with heat advisories throughout the day. But the heat and humidity we did have, along with a weak storm system nearby, has triggered some isolated thunderstorms, mainly for our southern counties. And you can see how we do have some strong isolated storms trying to hold on outside of Welsh, near Bonita, north of Grove, near Jay, and on top of Kansas, Oklahoma, in southern parts of Delaware County. Otherwise, temperatures, they're still warm. Most of us in the mid-80s still. Feels like the mid-80s to about the lower 90s for the most part. Well, the storms that are out there now, they'll fade away overnight, dropping temperatures back to 71. And then we're going to see highs not too terrible tomorrow, Bronte. Highs near 91. We'll see if we'll continue with the heat for the coming week here in a few.
All right, thanks, Nick. Well, there's no escaping it. Higher prices for most everything, including cars. But some people are still making that leap. Camilla Bernal reports.
This here is the Wrangler, four-wheel drive.
This is Roland Pahood's new Jeep. It was a necessity, he says, and a quick decision.
I had another car with a lot of mileage and I needed a bigger one.
The Jeep was about $50,000, leaving his monthly payment at about $800, higher than the most recent Kelley Blue Book monthly payment average at $712.
This is a new record for that monthly payment. This is a new record. And then the new car prices are actually near records.
In the last year, new car prices have gone up 12.6%, used cars up 16.1%, food 10.1%, and gas up 48.7%. But gas prices not necessarily deterring potential buyers at this Southern California car dealership.
Demand is high, supply is still low, and we're still in chip shortage era.
This, paired with the high interest rates, making it difficult for buyers.
We don't see prices decreasing much, and even if they do, just keep in mind that interest rates are rising. So the cost of borrowing money is going up, so that just means you're still going to be paying as much or nearly as much as you were, even if those prices go down.
Car, home, and student loans all higher. Interest rates on a 30-year fixed mortgage have jumped from 2.93 to 5.78% in the last year.
This is how it looks.
Pahood wishes his interest would have been lower, but says it was his need and want that motivated his new car purchase. Camila Bernal, CNN, Los Angeles.
We take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Lance Corporal Joseph Pastusak served in the Marines from 1967 to 1969. During his service, he earned a Presidential Unit Citation and Purple Heart. His hometown, Joplin. We thank you, Lance Corporal Joseph Pastusak, tonight's four-state hero. After the break, how the weather played havoc with flights this week, plus how a national lifeguard shortage could affect your summer plans. It hasn't exactly been friendly skies for the airline industry. On Friday, more than 1,000 U.S. flights were canceled due to storms along parts of the East Coast. That's according to FlightAware.com. Union reps for Southwest airline pilots say there aren't enough pilots to handle June's schedule. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg spoke with airline executives Thursday night and asked to try and keep summer cancellations to a minimum. More than 2,700 flights were scrapped during the Memorial Day weekend. And if you're planning to cool off this summer by the pool, you might have to rethink those plans. The American Lifeguard Association says 1/3 of public pools won't be able to open this season because of a staff shortage. Vanessa Yurkovich reports.
Had you ever been a lifeguard before?
I was a lifeguard when I was 16.
How long ago was that?
I'm 70 now.
This summer, Robin Borlando is taking the plunge, getting back in the pool in Philadelphia to be a lifeguard 54 years later.
I want to do something and feel worthwhile, purpose or something.
She found her calling after she heard the Philadelphia Parks and Recreation Department wouldn't be able to open all of their 70 pools this summer. They're facing lifeguard shortages, and so is the rest of the country. 1/3 of the 309,000 public pools nationwide will not open.
How many do you think you realistically will be able to open this year?
We're going to have about 80% of the staff we need. So we're hopeful we're going to get to about 80% of the pools that we're able to open.
It's part of the fierce competition for workers in a red-hot summer job market, fueled in part by the lack of foreign workers following COVID immigration restrictions. There are 11.4 million unfilled jobs with an unemployment rate of 3.6%. And despite raising wages, a marketing campaign on TikTok, and free certification, the Philadelphia Parks and Rec Department can't find enough lifeguards.
I have people saying to us all the time, like, Target's offering $18 an hour, I'll be in the air conditioning and I get a little discount. Who doesn't want a discount at Target?
Right. How do you fight that though?
It's hard.
When public pools don't open, it leaves some neighborhoods without an escape from the heat and crime.
We're experiencing a huge uptick in violent crime, specifically gun violence. Critical for us to have safe spaces like this.
And across the country, YMCAs, which typically serve lower income families, have 75% of the 250,000 staff members they need to operate.
We have competition in our maintenance, cleaning, and cooking staff with anything that would fall under the hospitality industry.
And those camps, more than 1,700 of them nationally, also act as childcare when kids are out of school, critical so parents can work.
We still have at most of our camps a need for more staff to be able to take children off the wait list.
As Borlando waits for Philadelphia's pools to open by the end of this month, she now sees her role as more than just a lifeguard.
How do you think it's going to be different this time around?
Well, I'm hoping that being a mother and a grandmother, I'm hoping I'm a little wiser now. And that's what I want to bring, just natural, just that warmth, that friend. But don't test me though.
Meanwhile, in New York, the Parks Department announced there will be no swim lessons at public pools. That could possibly impact the lifeguard shortage in the years coming. Well, later, why some Beaver Lake swimmers may have to find a new swim spot.
But first, we'll see if we can scrub out the heat at all as we look at the week ahead when we come back. Hot and a bit humid once again, at least the past couple of mornings, if we look back over the past 36 hours, has given us at least a bit of a break in the heat over the past couple of nights. We had lower in the middle 70s yesterday morning before we topped right back out in the mid 90s once again. Then once we got past this morning's lows in the lower 70s, maybe a couple spots near 70, we all wasted no time going back into the mid 90s, at least 96. It dropped to regional, but everybody fared the same way. Just hot once again with our same stubborn weather setup, but this time around we didn't have a lot of humidity to result in any heat advisories. It still felt a bit humid out there nonetheless. I will say, though, that with the storm system actually on top of the region, that actually has lifted up some of the heat and the humidity that we did have. It did result in some isolated thunderstorms, mainly for parts of our southeastern and southern counties. A lot of us in Kansas, we stayed pretty much dry throughout the day, still looking that way right now. But if we zoom in for northeastern Oklahoma, we do see some stubborn isolated storms trying to hold on around Banzit, along and south of US 60 in Ottawa County, pushing over Veneta along the Turnpike, and some additional storms in Delaware County and certainly working over Grand Lake. But as we continue throughout the course of the night, I'm expecting those to die out and we'll all be dry to start tomorrow morning out. And thankfully, with another break from the heat, but it's still warm out there at 84. Feels like 90 with a dew point of 72 in Joplin. Most spots lower to middle 80s all across the board. Still feels like the mid 80s to about the lower 90s out there. And if we want to back up here, I want to show you the overall surface map setup. Here's our system at the surface. It's actually a front that tried to come in from the east, but it's pretty much stalling out and it'll fall apart as we go through the night and certainly going into tomorrow. But the way the storms were traveling, you saw how they pushed from east to west. That's because they were steered by our upper level highs just to the north of the region, but the clockwise flow is what's steering those storms from east to west. That upper level ridge stays in control for tomorrow, but we will see those storms out there, isolated storms, die out as we go throughout the course of the night. So we are going to drop back. Whoop. I should know where I stand with my own graphics here. 71 degrees for your Sunday morning to start things out. We're thankfully dry throughout the course of the day. Let's go 86 by noon. Afternoon highs around 91 in Joplin. Everybody will go into the lower 90s for tomorrow, and not that humid, but just enough to make it feel like the mid 90s as we go into Sunday afternoon. We'll do it again for Monday with that upper ridge still in control. Lower 90s for highs, dry during the day, and it feels like the mid 90s with the humidity that we'll have. Another hot day for Tuesday while we stay dry, but then the ridge shifts around just enough to allow a system and an upper level wave to give us slight isolated thunderstorm chances Wednesday, Thursday, and maybe on Friday before that upper ridge regains control. But even with these slight rain chances Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Bronte, it is not going to scrub out the heat. At least we'll be in the lower 90s for tomorrow and Monday with overnight lows giving us a break from the heat, but then pretty much mid 90s throughout the rest of the weekend. Potentially upper 90s by next weekend.
Not looking forward to it.
But at the very
it is June.
Yeah, but at the very least, not screaming high humidity for the next few days, so that's at least a little bit of help for us.
Yes, definitely a nice relief. Thanks, Nick. Well, if you ever had plans to go to Beaver Lake in Arkansas, you may have to find a new lake. Officials from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers have said several swim beaches at Beaver Lake have been closed. They say that they're closed because of high levels of E. coli that have been discovered, as well as submerged debris and obstacles. A total of 9 swim areas have had to be closed. You can find a full list of which areas have been closed on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And if your signal of KOAM or Fox 14 becomes glitchy this week, it's a sign of progress. We'll be broadcasting from a lower temporary antenna while a crew installs a new, more technically advanced antenna at the top of our tower. It's the final step in our More Power project. This will allow some viewers who previously lost our signal to get us once again. If all goes to plan, we'll be back and stronger than ever soon. St. Louis has dropped their last 4 games on the road.
Yeah, a chance to turn it around tonight against Boston. Plus, the Midwest Mustangs return to action in the Pitt State Tournament. Those highlights next.
Fans of American cheese can now make a fashion statement on their fingertips. Velveeta has teamed up with a British beauty brand on a limited edition set of 2 cheese-scented polishes. The Nails Inc. collaboration has 2 shades, a bright red called Finger Food and a yellow called La Dolce Velveeta. But the fun doesn't stop there. Each comes with a set of Velveeta-themed nail stickers. The stickers feature gooey cheese graphics and buzzwords like creamy and drip. The price is $15, and you can order the results of this cheesy collaboration on the Nails Inc. website. It's not what I expected from that. I didn't know if it was going to be like scented or
very creative.
Yeah, they
like, would that go though? Like cheese scented nail polish that looked like Velveeta
I wouldn't
cheese?
want my fingers to smell like cheese personally.
When it dries, it still. I'm intrigued, to say the least.
Yeah, maybe if they want to, maybe we can test them out one day and see what it's all about. All right, final check of weather.
We're going to stay hot once again tomorrow, but not too humid. Highs near 91. Any isolated storms out there right now will die off overnight. We'll keep it dry for tomorrow.
All right, final check of sports.
The Midwest Mustangs earn a spot in the championship game. They'll play that tomorrow afternoon.
Well, that's our time for now. Remember, we're always on at KOAMnewsnow.com and with the KOAM News Now app. Thanks for making us part of your night.